Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The act of concealing the existence of something by obstructing the view of it. The work of applying something. A natural object that covers or envelops. Under a covering of dust. An artifact that covers something else, usually to protect or shelter or conceal it. The act of protecting something by covering it. A recording of a song that was first recorded or made popular by somebody else. They made a cover of a Beatles song. Form a cover over. The grass covered the grave. Clothe, as if for protection from the elements. Cover your head. A fixed charge by a restaurant or nightclub over and above the charge for food and drink. The act of concealing the existence of something by obstructing the view of it. The cover concealed their guns from enemy aircraft. Travel across or pass over. The caravan covered almost 100 miles each day. Span an interval of distance, space or time. The period covered the turn of the century. A covering that serves to conceal or shelter something. Under cover of darkness. Include in scope. Include as part of something broader. Have as one sphere or territory. This should cover everyone in the group. Fire that makes it difficult for the enemy to fire on your own individuals or formations. Artillery provided covering fire for the withdrawal. Put something on top of something else. Cover the meat with a lot of gravy. A natural object that covers or envelops. Under a covering of dust. The protective covering on the front, back, and spine of a book. Make up for shortcomings or a feeling of inferiority by exaggerating good qualities. Bedding that keeps a person warm in bed. He pulled the covers over his head and went to sleep. Hide from view or knowledge. The president covered the fact that he bugged the offices in the White House. Be responsible for reporting the details of, as in journalism. The cub reporter covered New York City. Covering for a hole, especially a hole in the top of a container. Put the cover back on the kettle. Act on verbally or in some form of artistic expression. The course covered all of Western civilization. Sit on, eggs. The female covers the eggs. Protect by insurance. The insurance won't cover this. Cover as if with a shroud. Copulate with a female, used especially of horses. The horse covers the mare. A false identity and background, especially one created for an undercover agent. Her new name and passport or cover for her next assignment. Be responsible for guarding an opponent in a game. Be sufficient to meet, defray, or offset the charge or cost of. Is this enough to cover the check? Help out by taking someone's place and temporarily assuming his responsibilities. She is covering for our secretary who is ill this week. Hold within range of an aimed firearm. Invest with a large or excessive amount of something. She covered herself with glory. Maintain a check on, especially by patrolling. The second officer covered the top floor. Play a higher card than the one previously played. Smith covered again. Protect or defend, a position in a game. He covered left field. Provide for. The grant doesn't cover my salary. Provide with a covering or cause to be covered. Cover her face with a handkerchief. Spread over a surface to conceal or protect. This paint covers well. To take an action to protect against future problems. Count the cash in the drawer twice just to cover yourself. Scenery used to block the audience's view of parts of the stage that should not be seen. The act of concealing the existence of something by obstructing the view of it. The blocking of one sensation resulting from the presence of another sensation. He studied auditory masking by pure tones. The act of concealing the existence of something by obstructing the view of it. The display of a motion picture. Fabric of metal or plastic mesh. Testing objects or persons in order to identify those with particular characteristics. Liquid preparation having a soothing or antiseptic or medicinal action when applied to the skin. The act of bringing something to bear, using it for a particular purpose. He advocated the application of statistics to the problem. The work of applying something. The doctor prescribed a topical application of iodine. A program that gives a computer instructions that provide the user with tools to accomplish a task. He has tried several different word processing applications. A diligent effort. It is a job requiring serious application. A verbal or written request for assistance or employment or admission to a school. December 31st is the deadline for applications. The action of putting something into operation. The application of maximum thrust. A decorative texture or appearance of a surface, or the substance that gives it that appearance. A thin layer covering something. The work of applying something. The surface was ready for a coating of paint. A heavy fabric suitable for coats. A natural object that covers or envelops. The activity of keeping something secret. The state of being hidden. He went into hiding. The activity of keeping something secret. A covering that serves to conceal or shelter something. The simplest concealment is to match perfectly the color of the background. The condition of being concealed or hidden. The activity of keeping something secret. Covering or hiding. The concealing darkness. Labor done with the hands. Labor done with the hands. An object occurring naturally, not made by man. A man-made object taken as a whole. A man-made object taken as a whole. Payment extorted by gangsters on threat of violence. Every store in the neighborhood had to pay him protection. A covering that is intended to protect from damage or injury. They had no protection from the fallout. Defense against financial failure, financial independence. Insurance provided protection against loss of wages due to illness. The imposition of duties or quotas on imports in order to protect domestic industry against foreign competition. He made trade protection a plank in the party platform. Kindly endorsement and guidance. The condition of being protected. They were huddled together for protection. The activity of protecting someone or something. The witnesses demanded police protection. The application of plaster. A quantity of small objects flying through the air. The dispersion of fungicides or insecticides or fertilizer on growing crops, often from a low-flying aircraft. The application of a liquid in the form of small particles ejected from a sprayer. Graphic art consisting of an artistic composition made by applying paints to a surface. A small painting by Picasso. The occupation of a house painter. House painting was the only craft he knew. Creating a picture with paints. He studied painting and sculpture for many years. The act of applying paint to a surface. You can finish the job of painting faster with a roller than with a brush. The application of wallpaper. The application of wallpaper. The act of applying paving materials to an area. A tax toward paving streets. The paved surface of a thoroughfare. Material used to pave an area. The act of applying paving materials to an area. The act of applying oil or an oily liquid. Stimulation that arouses a person to lively action. The unexpected news produced a kind of galvanization of the whole team. Either the work of covering with metal by the use of a galvanic current or the coating of iron with zinc to protect it from rusting. Stimulation with a galvanic current. The application of tiles to cover a surface. The application of a protective layer of tin. The application of plaster. A thin coating of metal deposited on a surface. The application of a thin coat of metal, as by electrolysis. An application of a lubricant to something. The condition of having been made smooth or slippery by the application of a lubricant. A piece of cloth that is used as the inside surface of a garment. A protective covering that protects an inside surface. Providing something with a surface of a different material. The act of attaching an inside lining to a garment or curtain, etc.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.